HealthyHouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support my show and get help growing your houseplants, check out my Patreon below. Today I have a viewer-inspired video. Justin asked if I could do a video on how to prune lucky bamboo. And this is lucky bamboo, which actually isn't bamboo at all. Lucky bamboo is actually a 𝗣𝗍𝗃. It's 𝗣𝗍𝗃 sanderiana. So, but they call it lucky bamboo. It kind of looks bamboo-ish, I guess, sort of, the stems. Okay, so this has a few little problems here, which was cool, so that I have something to work with doing this video. This, for some reason, died back, so I'm going to show you what you would do if that happens. And how to cut actually into the stem itself. So that's a good use there. This guy's in a good shape, this middle one here. So I am not going to cut it. Put it forward here a little bit. You can see I'm not going to cut it. This is a great size here, so I'm just going to leave this one. Now, this guy is really tall, so we're going to cut the leaf section on this one. So this will give you an idea of cutting actually into stem and cutting leaf size, and then when you might just want to leave it alone. So as mentioned, this is 𝗣𝗍𝗃. They do grow them in a way that makes them do these curves and such. When they're young, they twist them around certain things. They use wires and other sorts of things to do this. So that's where that cool twisty thing comes from. One little side note is for the luck, because these are supposed to be lucky, as I said, and you grow them for the luck, besides they look cool, right? So you always want, in order to get luck, you want to have 3 or actually 3 or 5 or so odd numbers, right? You don't want even numbers. So right now, this one, I need to cut this one to get it to grow some more leaves, so I get luck, right? So anyway, we're going to start with, let's start with this. Now, one thing to keep in mind, when you cut into this, this is not going to grow anymore. What grows on the lucky bamboo is the actual leaves that come out of stem nodes. These rings are stem nodes. In those rings, is contained in those rings is auxins. They're called auxins, and those are growth hormones. And so when you cut just above, a little bit above one of those rings, you stimulate the growth hormones, and then from there you're going to get this leafing like this one once was, right? So I'm going to go ahead and cut now. Now, as I mentioned, it was a piece that was cut when the plant was grown. It was grown and then pieces were cut. So when I cut this isn't going to grow. So you wouldn't want to go way down here thinking you're going to get this guy to grow again. As mentioned, what you're going to get to grow is the leaves. So you want to stay up. If you want this to, now if you want it to be dinky, you can do that, right? But if you want it to stay, I want it to stay about the same height as the rest, so that I get an even display here. Then I'm going to stay up here quite a bit. Now, obviously, I want to do it probably about here and get rid of this area where it died back. For whatever reason it died back, I'm not really clear on that, but I do want to get away from that part. So I'm going to cut down. So there's this one that has a leaf coming out of it. I'm going to cut above the next one, so that leaves will come out of that, and it's going to be a healthier cut, a healthier area than this here. So that should then, and it takes a bit of time, but it will start growing new leaves from this cut part. Now, another thing to keep in mind too, if you are wanting to propagate this plant, I could cut this into pieces and have like a little teeny guys that are growing leaves if you wanted to. So that's, that's another option, okay? But I don't want to do that because I like liked this at the height that it was at. Okay, so these leaves will grow up and kind of fill in. Now this one, as you can see, is pretty tall. So what you do with these sections where you've got the leaf is figure out whereabouts you want to cut it. Now one thing keep in mind when you're pruning any plants, and that is that you don't want to cut out more than 1/3 on the plant at a time, because what'll happen with that is that you can have shock for the plant, okay, because it's just cut back too much. These are essentially each separate plant, so I'm considering these as separate plants. So this one I don't want to cut back by more than 1/3, so I wouldn't want to just hack off all the leaves, because that would be more than that, right? Plus I kind of, like I said, want more of an even presentation. So I think if I go down on this guy, maybe about 1/3 of the way down or so, that will be good to do. Now you can use, you want to use the bigger pruners for the stems, because they're pretty thick, but you can go with a smaller pruner. You do want sharp pruners. I'll put some pruners down below, links for them down below. And I will put a link down below for how to grow these plants, because there's other things to keep in mind for growing them as well. Okay, so keeping in mind too that when you do prune the leaf part, this will grow. It's just this part that's not going to grow, right? So we will get more growth again, and it'll probably be a little bit bushier. You can see how this one, it has 3 together, so it's a little bit more bushy than this one was only like 2. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to just do this somehow so you can see. Okay, I'm going to go and cut about here, right. I'm cutting right there. It's about halfway down. This is how much I cut off, okay? So this is going to get this piece. Now you can see it's shorter now. It's going to get bushier here. So that's what you can do when you want to shorten it. You know, you want to get it a little shorter. Now, will this one be a little bit taller than this one? Yes. However, I could take a little bit more off if I want to get it to be even more even with that. Or another thing that's going to happen is this is going to continue to grow as well. And I could always prune at another time a little bit more off of there. But for now, since I did take off a good chunk, I'm going to leave it like that. So that gives you an idea, and you can see where it was taken off right there. So right there, it was taken off right at the stem area, but I didn't cut into the stem, and I left a little bit of, this is the leaf that is going to continue to grow, and then it's going to also make more leaves, bigger leaves down there as well. Okay, so there you go for how to prune back lucky bamboo. So you can get even luckier after you do the pruning. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.